Wow, 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 wow. This is amazing. I feel humbled and touched, moved by the work that you are all doing, and so grateful that you exist and that you are saving our lives, saving millions and millions and trillions and countless lives. You've been sitting for a long time and quiet, so to celebrate this scientific progress that we're witnessing here, I want you to stand up and go, yeah!
Yeah!
Yeah, I'll do it too.
Yeah!
All right. Well, we're going to, thank you for that. That is energizing. We're going to do our Q&A. Hopefully I won't drop my iPad, and it will be okay. So feel free to submit questions through the application, if you haven't done so yet, to the event application on your phones. All right. Thank you again. So I have one question for Liz. Is the BioViva gene therapy available for humans at an offshore clinic?
Oh, that's a really good question. So outside of treating myself through Dr. Williams, BioViva has never been able to treat a person because it's illegal for a US company to do that. So we work with a company called Integrative Health Systems. They're an offshore company, and they're basically a company that connects patients to medical doctors, and you both consent to treatment, and then that's how you get access. Our company is able to assess the data, but we're not able to give you a treatment. I'd like to change that.
That's right. Thank you. They want to know, Dr. Lufkin, if you take rapamycin, and if so, what effects has it had on you?
Personally, yeah, I do take rapamycin. I haven't had any side effects from it. As far as the positive effects, it's very difficult to say because I'm like many of us, I'm doing a lot of different interventions with lifestyle and diet and fasting and other things. So I feel great. I feel better than I used to feel, but I'm not sure it's the rapamycin. It might be a combination of other factors. So the short answer is I don't know.
Do you do any blood work or any biomarkers before and after?
Yes, I routinely do biomarkers. There were no problems with glucose or there were no negative effects there or with immune function.
And benefits in terms of any of the biomarkers that we know of aging, for example, that you've seen changing?
Well, all the blood markers improved, but again, I'm not sure if it's what
Which
aspect
one?
of lifestyle and all the changes
Right.
I'm doing. It's not a good way to run an experiment,
Yeah, exactly.
but if
Not
you're
very
trying to
scientific.
save your life, it's a good way to do it.
Do you take anything else other than your diet and exercising and
As
like
far-
NAD or
In your drugs, metformin and acarbose.
acarbose? Interesting. Yeah, there's so many questions. It's hard for me to choose one quickly, but I'll be right back. Sorry, I'm here. But, so with the use of mRNA technology now, because of the COVID vaccine that is globally being used, will you think this will accelerate the adoption of gene therapy? I guess it doesn't say who they're asking, but I don't know who wants to take
I think
it. I don't
Bill
know
would
if
probably
Liz.
be good to answer that. We hope so.
Yeah, let's
That's
see, Mike.
interesting.
Okay, so I've done a lot of RNA work and a lot of DNA work, and I personally find that DNA works a lot better than RNA. So I'm guessing that that's probably what we're going to see. I'm not certain if RNA will ever take off, but RNA is faster. It's faster to get it developed in things, and so that's one of the reasons why it's vaccine.
Any other therapies that you can think of here in the panel that could advance faster because of mRNA?
Well, I think that that was actually, if you want to look at anything well, around the vaccine, is that goes to show how fast the government can move if it wants to.
Absolutely.
Again, on the patient advocate side, you know, HIV had a drug in 2 years because people marched on Washington. And I can't tell you more that that is really what we need to do. We need to get out there and we need to demand access, because the regulatory system can move amazingly fast if they want to, and there's no bigger crisis than aging.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I'd like to bring up a point related
Yes.
to what Liz just said. There's a book that I'd like you all to know about, and I'd like you all to read it. Ultimately, it's called Death by Regulation by Mary Ruwart. It describes how, if not for a modification in the FDA charter that took place in 1962, drugs would be 40 times cheaper than they are now, and you'd have about 10 times as many of them, and they would have come a lot sooner, and there'd be no compromise in either safety or efficacy. So there are several approaches that can be used to bring down regulatory barriers, but there has to be the political will to go there. So if the public becomes aware of these things, maybe you can influence other people.
Yeah.
That's right.
Please read Bill Falloon's books as well, because he has done an immense amount of research also on the US FDA and how things really need to change. And I was just told that there's an amazing Joe Rogan episode, 3 hours long.
Yeah, if you really want to become motivated to do something, then I would recommend watching the Joe Rogan podcast that came out a couple of weeks ago. I was a scientific advisor on that episode. It's 3 hours long, but you will not be able to tear your eyes away. It's about the insurance companies and about how the healthcare system in the United States is really not, it's let us down. But it's amazing. I recommend it.
Definitely. Thank you for that recommendation. Yes, I think science and technology are moving extremely fast, and it is accelerating, but the regulatory system is not moving as fast, so it's definitely not going to work. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Dr. White, if you can tell us more about the Space Aging Research Institute.
Yeah, so that's a new initiative that we're just starting. We're actually raising capital for right now. We're trying to raise $2 million for a 2-year proof of principle research program to demonstrate that some of these ideas about entropy being the ultimate cause of aging and how we could try to undo entropy that would then have downstream effects on everything else that we're studying here today. So we want to be able to demonstrate that some of the ideas that I describe in my book are actually based in legitimate science. Schrodinger worked on them years ago. He ended up winning the Nobel Prize, but we've sort of forgotten about a lot of this science, and we've also forgotten how to reconcile different disciplines. So I'm trying to do that. We're trying to get this institute going, so with your support, hopefully we can do that.
Thank you so much. Is that a non-profit?
It's a non-profit. It's a 501c3.
Yeah. Thank you. Sounds wonderful. Question from Chase Falcon, Bill's son. For you, Dr. Fay. Would you expect the improvements you've seen on pheno-age and various biomarkers to continue improving beyond your initial results if the treatments in these trials were repeated continuously, no gaps?
It looks at the moment like what happened in the TRIM-X trial was that with continued treatment, it plateaued for a while. I think that that's an artifact of certain details of the way we did the experiment. I think we can overcome that. I have some pretty excellent leads on how to do that. But when that is over, then yes, I expect that the plasma pheno-age clock will go in reverse again for a period of time, just like it did in the volunteer that was in both TRIM and TRIM-X. After the end of TRIM-X, he gained another 3 years of negative aging. So I think that that's generally going to be seen to occur. I don't have a good explanation for that, but apparently there's further adjustments that the body goes through after the end of the treatment that allows it to get at least a transient further gain. So I do believe that that would happen. But if you continue the treatment longer, I think that it may continue to go down farther and farther, provided I make an adjustment to the protocol. Yeah.
Can't wait to see that. Greg, is there anything you want to say to women to sign up? I know you have less women participating. Is there anything in particular that you want to say to encourage them to?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just for the women out there, just so you know, the people that have been the most enthusiastic about this trial have been the women who have enrolled in the trial. They're just bursting with energy. They're excited. I think maybe women are built to live long, and this treatment just sort of helps them do that. So I would certainly encourage the women to sign up. It looks like you get the same benefits of the men, but you may have more fun along the way. So,
For Dr. Lufkin, are there known side effects to rapamycin? And did you say there was a rapamycin shampoo?
Yeah, the rapamycin shampoo is what was used on the animal model.
Yes.
There's not currently an FDA-approved version of that.
Can we still get some?
But biohackers
My
are
hair's
grinding up tablets and making hand lotion and toothpaste and
Wow.
shampoos, or they're just taking it orally. But it's all, it's all the Wild West out there.
You got my number, right?
Pardon me?
you said there's an FDA-approved rapamycin cream?
Yeah, it just came out for facial angiofibromas associated with tuberous sclerosis. So you could buy it. It's very expensive, but it's an off-label use you could use for hands potentially.
And if you're desperate enough, you could even put it on your hair.
Dilute it with a little water and rub it in.
Right.
There's a product here that has Rapalog that is a facial cream. I don't know if you saw that. And part of my ignorance, but is it different than rapamycin, Rapalog?
Here at this show?
Yeah, this at the show, yeah. There's a cream.
I'll check it out. I haven't seen that.
Is it Rapalog is different than rapamycin, or is,
Yeah.
Greg is saying it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there can be all kinds of rapalogs. Rapalog just
So-
means it's an analog to rapamycin.
So, but rapamycin is a Rapalog, correct?
Rapamycin is rapamycin, and a rapalog
Okay.
would be something that mimics rapamycin.
I see.
If it's chemically similar to rapamycin, the rapalogs will still be under the FDA approval and require a prescription to
I see.
use them.
Yeah, because I was talking to some people here and they were convinced that the cream was a rapamycin cream, and that's why this is the perfect environment to clarify that.
Yeah, the hand cream is currently by prescription only, just like the rapamycin tablets are.
Right. Thank you. Liz, what are your thoughts about using lipid nanoparticles as a vector for gene delivery as opposed to the CMV vector for gene delivery?
Well, I'm interested in the lipid nanoparticles. Obviously, lipid nanoparticles were used in the immunization. They were not able to be used in higher doses because they're toxic to your liver. There are companies working on non-toxic versions, but they have a long ways to go. And we looked at this quite widely. We didn't start our research till 2018, 3 years into it. And we just like vector delivery systems because they are designed to take genes and put them into the nucleus. And that's where genes have a persistent outcome. And so the idea of our company is to deliver drugs which you don't have to take over and over again. Although we did show that we may be able to create a intranasal gene therapy for you. Hopefully that will also be long-term. The idea is to make it so people are not dependent on drug use, that we can kind of set it and forget it at least for a number of years, a decade or two. And I think that that's doing the best justice to the population. I've always said that right now we live definitely in an economy where companies need to make money. In the future, healthcare should be free, and enhancement should cost a lot, and I want to enhance you.
That's right. How many?
Let me add to the nanoparticles. It sounds like my mic's not working. We've done a lot of side-by-side experiments with mRNA, DNA, nanoparticles, viral vectors. We've never found anything that works as good as viral vectors.
I mean, there would be a targeting issue with just lipid nanoparticles, right? Maybe the CMV has better targeting properties. Can you?
Yeah, I couldn't hear the end. Say it again louder. Say again what you said louder.
Yeah, I mean, I think going to just a lipid nanoparticle brings up issues of targeting, whereas the CMV has affinities for certain cells that you know in advance, and you would have to build more into it than just the lipid coating. You'd have to
CMV,
make sure it went the
AAV,
right place.
adenovirus, lentivirus, all the other ones. We've compared side by sides with all those different viral vectors, and they all work better in our hands than nanoparticles.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying that. Liz, how many therapies people can take from, that you offer, that BioViva is offering, and what kinds?
Well, at BioViva, again, I have to say we can't offer therapies, but in medical tourism, there are many therapies available around the gene therapy space, both with companies we work with and outside of that. You'll find a few companies working on follistatin, the muscle-increasing gene therapy. You'll find Clotho and telomerase together for dementia or cognitive decline or cognitive enhancement. You'll find PGC1 alpha for obesity or metabolic issues, and then combinations thereof. And so PGC1 alpha and Clotho and TERT may be a popular therapy for something like chronic kidney disease. And again, it's all experimental. If companies will work with us and share the data with us, we will get papers to you. And that's what we really push for.
Thank you, Liz. Dr. White, you are the Vice President of the American College of Regenerative Medicine. What do they think about aging and curing aging?
Well, so the American College of Regenerative Medicine is a 501c6, and the idea there is that we're trying to bring together the entire field of regenerative medicine to have some kind of standards. Because that's really a big problem in the industry right now, is that there are so many of us making great leaps, but then there are so many cowboys out there that are messing the waters. And so what we're trying to do is trying to bring everything under one roof to try to go to the FDA and say, look, there is some discipline here. We do know what we're doing. So anti-aging is part of regenerative medicine. So we're a big proponent of anti-aging. It's going to be the rest of my life's work. Hopefully it's not going to take that long. I hope to have that for you in a couple of years, maybe 10 years. We'll see, but that's why we have the American College. That's why we have the Space Aging Research Institute. That's because that's where I'm putting all my energy. This is the future.
So we're on the same page, basically.
Yes, same page.
Good. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any more time, and this conversation could go for hours, and I have a lot of questions from all of you here, but I'm sure you can find, are you all sticking around? Yes, yeah? So you can have private conversations with them, and I want to thank you very much, very, very much, and for all the work that you do. When I got involved in this field about 20 years ago, it was just a few of us crazy people with some crazy idea. And Aubrey de Grey actually was my mentor, and that's why I'm here. And I want to thank him too. And now this is a reality. There's an industry, there's a field, and it's just amazing. And I feel very touched by that and very grateful to all of you. And to all of you too, because without you, this wouldn't be happening either. Thank you. Thanks, all of you too.